Good evening, campers. Happy Friday. Week 11 picks for the National Football League. We'll start off by saying, hey, it's Friday. Did you forget there was a game on Thursday? No, I had a phone crash. So that precluded me from picking what was an excellent game, Arizona against Seattle. Seattle ended up winning that game. But I didn't have a pick ready, and I didn't timestamp it, so that's a loss. I'm not going to omit it. I'm just going to say, you know what? I'm 0-1, and that's fine. Last week, I went 9-5, taking my record to 81, 48, and 1 for weeks 2 to 10. 62%. It's not great, and it doesn't suck too badly. Fairly excremental. It is. I mean, I really wanted to be in the 65 to 70% range, kind of like Derek Carr's completion percentage. You haters. Derek Carr's the man. Just is. Okay, so guess I'm gonna make some picks. All right, so we're gonna get after these. So I'm gonna be making 13 picks. I'm 0-1 already. So let's see what kind of mischievous dumbassery I can get myself into today. I'm gonna create some words and just put some stupidity on film. That's just the mood that I'm in. So Friday night being what it is. Sunday early games. We're gonna see the Philadelphia Eagles going to Cleveland. Cleveland's got a better defense. Since OBJ's gotten injured, I think you're seeing better from Baker Mayfield. A little more maturity. Philadelphia just cannot. The injuries have been really, really bad for Philadelphia, and then they're not together yet. I expected more out of them last week. I'm going to pick Cleveland at home. They're borderline hanging in there as a playoff team. Atlanta's going to go to New Orleans. Now you're looking at Taysom Hill taking over at least the majority of snaps, possibly all of them for the week. Matt Ryan's a good quarterback. He's on the back end of the career, but Taysom Hill's going to bring some athleticism and some dynamism to the offense, and Atlanta's defense isn't all that great as it is. I'd take New Orleans at home in that game as well. Detroit or Detroit is going to go to Carolina. Going to play at Bank of America Stadium. Now this is a grass field, so Detroit's really good on turf, from what I've seen. They got a fairly good defense, but then so does Carolina. I'm gonna take Carolina at home in a tight one that's more of a defensive game, but mainly because Carolina's got that probably better team on grass than what Detroit can put out there. New England coming off a shocker against Baltimore Ravens at home in a driving rainstorm last week. New England's going to go on the road to play Houston, and they're going to go play the Texans. Deshaun Watson needs more help badly. I mean, they're going to get the guy killed. New England has a pretty formidable defense. Nothing like the 2000 Ravens, where they basically had a guy who could do just enough and on offense, but they had a great defense, and they won the Super Bowl in spectacular fashion against the Giants. New England is more or less, because their defense is second tier probably, which is good. They're not an elite defense. They're not going to be able to get too far above 500. If they get to 9-7, I'm going to be tremendously impressed. I think this is an 8-8 team probably. And I had them winning the division, and it's been the thing that I've been the most wrong about this entire time, this entire season so far. So I'm going to take New England on the road, though, in Houston. Pittsburgh's going to go to Jacksonville. And this is a, if there's ever been a trap game in the history of all mankind, okay, I'm taking that a little too far. It's a trap game, okay? Pittsburgh is going to go into Jacksonville. They're a vastly better team. Jacksonville can play defense, though. I mean, and you know, I think that Pittsburgh wins this game. Maybe they win by 10 to 13 points, somewhere along the line. It's going to be a solid win. It won't be the absolute demolition that it should be, just, you know, from looking at the game on paper. So I think Pittsburgh's been in a lot of close games, but they've played some really good teams through this stretch. So is Pittsburgh going to go undefeated? No, don't think so. But they're a very good team. Pittsburgh's gonna roll over Jacksonville. They're on the road. Tennessee's going to the Big Crab Cake in Baltimore, M&T Bank Stadium. This is a replay of last year's bounce out of the playoffs for the Ravens. Ravens really thought they had a Super Bowl winning team, and they got bounced out by Tennessee. Derrick Henry's still there. The team's intact. Tennessee has regressed on defense, however, and because of that regression, and the fact that this is a badly needed bounce back game for the Baltimore Ravens, and they're an extremely well coached team. But then so is Tennessee. Vrabel's a good coach, despite the fact that he comes from the tree of the hoodie. Okay? Most people come from the hoodie. Suck. Matresha, I'm talking about you. I see you. Matresha. Yeah. Most of them suck. A couple of them are good. I mean, so you know, you got the guy in Miami, and you got Vrabel. So that's about where that legacy's going to be. Vrabel's a good coach, but Harbaugh's awesome, and they'll be ready to play. They're playing at home. So I'm going to pick Baltimore at home in a game they really need. They both do, but Baltimore really needs to bounce back. And I think they'll keep Derrick Henry probably under 125 yards, and I think that they'll, you know, probably throttle them back on as far as their passing game is concerned. Cincinnati's going to go into the White Nation's capital. They're going to play the Fighting Ron Riveras. Fighting Ron Riveras have a top 13 or 14 defense, which is a surprise statistically. But then that's his style. But Alex Smith is playing now, so a lot of the stuff from earlier in the season is misleading from a statistical standpoint on offense. Cincinnati really doesn't have that great of a defense, and Joe Burrow, when they put a couple more pieces around him in the next year or so, that is going to be a very good team. I'm not going to be picking against Burrow very much longer, but I have to take Washington at home because of Alex Smith. I think they have a very good defense. They have a much better defense than Cincinnati, and I think that they're going to do just enough on offense, you know, and take this game. So Washington at home, even though they could use a running game. Sunday late games, Miami, suddenly resurging. Miami is going to go to Denver. Miami's going to take that game. A little anomaly you might not have noticed, and I hadn't until I took a look. They're in the top 10 in scoring offense and defense. They points for and points allowed. They're in top 10. That really surprised me. Their defense is playing well. They're playing well. Tua is bringing some athleticism, and he's bringing some dynamism to that offense, more than I would have expected at this point. He's going to have his down games, but I think Miami's a good team. And Denver, defensively, they're struggling. They've had a lot of injuries. So we're going to take Miami on the road, regardless of what the weather is. I don't even know what the weather is in Denver for the weekend. Dumpster Fire, New Jersey will pay a visit to the Los Angeles Chargers. Los Angeles Chargers actually do have a very good quarterback, and the ability to score a lot of points. And even if they try to blow the game, it's the Dumpster Fire of New York, Dumpster Fire of New Jersey. Sorry, New York. Sorry, New Jersey. Dumpster Fire of New Jersey. Doesn't come back on anybody. Okay? They only take advantage. They only stay in games when they're allowed to stay in games because they suck. And let's be quite honest. Number one pick, if it ends up being a certain quarterback I won't name because I don't want to jinx him, from Clemson, he'd be wise to do what John Elway did when he was drafted and say, I'm not going to play for the Colts. You better trade me. You better trade this pick. You better trade me because I'm not going to play for you. Okay? Because if he doesn't do that, he will probably be mauled. He'll probably be killed. He won't survive the season. The kid's a tough kid. He's going to get killed. I mean, this is an awful team. All right, so the Chargers at home over the dumpster fire in New Jersey. The Dallas Cowgirls are going to go to Minnesota. They're going to play the Minnesota Vikings. They have a minus 13 turnover ratio. They may as well just hike it to the other team and just, be done with it. Minnesota does have Dalvin Cook. They have just enough from Kirk Cousins when Dalvin Cook is in the lineup. And they have a pretty decent defense. So if they keep the balance going, I think this is a good. This could be a team that could make a go of it in the second half as we progress through the second half of the season. So Minnesota at home with the Cowgirls. Green Bay is going to go into Indianapolis. Could be a shootout. I think they're going to play this in the 30s. I think that Green Bay they're fairly well balanced, but I think Green Bay is going to be one of those things where they're not going to turn the ball over nearly as much as Indianapolis does in their worst times, and in their good times, I think Green Bay can put up points with the best of them. So I think Green Bay is a slightly better team, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, and they have good enough of a defense to be comparable to Indianapolis. Indianapolis has a better statistical defense, but they're close enough. So I think Green Bay wins on the road against Indianapolis. KC is going to go to the Las Vegas Raiders. They're going to go to Allegiant Stadium. The KC is a great road team, and the Raiders won the first one. Okay, Raiders are only 2-2 at home, but they play better teams at home than KC has. Than KC has played on the road. Okay, so the Raiders, that's a deceptive statistic right there. I saw a legitimate looking defense last week. And I think it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. The play calling is better. They're getting to the ball a little better. You're starting to see some turnovers out of that defense. And I think that there's 6 starters on defense for the Raiders that are in the COVID protocol. I'm going to make this call as if they're all coming back. Jonathan Abram is one of them. If Jonathan Abram does not play in this game, they're all supposed to come back. If he doesn't play in this game, KC wins. He's that good. He's this generation's Ronnie Lott. He's a crazed lunatic in a good way. So if he plays, I think they win this game. And I think they'll do the same thing they did last time. What they've been starting to do lately, last time against KC, is shut them out in the second half. I mean, just shut them down. Really good halftime adjustments and just shutting it down. Okay? So I do see the Vegas Raiders going for the sweep against KC and getting it at Allegiant Stadium. Monday night, the Los Angeles Rams will go into Tampa Bay. This pick has nothing to do with, well, it has a lot to do with with Tom Brady, but it's not all about Tom Brady. I will say there are going to be 2 very good defenses on that field, and there's going to be one really good dynamic offense that is not predictable and puts up points, and that's going to be Tampa's. So I'm going to pick Tampa Bay at home against the Los Angeles Rams, and it should be a really good game. All right? So enjoy the games. Like, share, subscribe, comment, yell it from the rafters. Call me names, whatever you want to do. Let's get some more chatter going on. All right? Tell your friends. Get them on here. All right? I want this to be a little bit of a community. It just never has gotten there. So, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Sharing is caring. Remember that. Okay? So enjoy the games. Peace out, me homies. See ya.